everything, but definitely, you know, musical instruments, because they have different band rooms and storage facilities.
Yeah. All right.
So, but I'll get them to kind of give us
I
a,
was just curious.
yeah.
Having had a kid in marching band, and I know what the old facility is like.
Yeah, so this is gonna be a marked improvement
Yeah.
of what they have. You know, we sent out notices. I got 3 phone calls just kind of asking what's going on because they received a letter. Once I kind of went over it, they didn't have any objections. And then if you guys don't have any more questions, the second item is the plat. Again, it's just a companion item. It's gonna show, you know, obviously the lot boundaries. And then there's obviously easements that are either changing or being added, or fire lanes being abandoned, new fire lanes being added. So that'll all be done by plat.
So, Mary, I see some easements shaded that they're calling out that really aren't really tied to what we're doing here. So what was the, and you mentioned in the email that these were kind of catching up on some previous adjustments.
Right.
How long ago were these?
Well, that's a good question. I think the last time they made some changes, so maybe like 10 years ago, I believe.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was for the big indoor stadium that they added. You remember that? Indoor practice field?
Yeah, that's
Any explanation why those weren't filed as part of that particular application?
I just think that maybe just fell through the cracks. So we're catching up and getting everything up to date with the plat.
Okay.
The school district doesn't always do everything exactly by the book, as we've learned in the past.
So at least it's demarcated, and we're gonna get it all settled with this one. And
Well,
sorry, do you have any more questions?
I was just going to say, well, I mean, if the expectation is for the public, you know, any applicant as they come through the development process to do the filing when they're complete, it should hold also for ISD. So I don't. Is this just an oversight, or is this, I mean?
We've already talked about it, and so we're catching up with this one, and I will make sure that it gets filed. In fact,
Are there other school sites that you might need to look at?
Not at this point, no.
Yeah, the
You might
ninth
find
grade
something.
center just got filed, right?
Yeah.
That might be a valid question, Sue. I mean.
Well, when we did the improvements to Mockingbird, we filed that. We did the improvements to ninth grade center,
West.
we did that. So we're catching up on everything.
3 schools, check.
Check.
Yeah, and they've got a long list of improvements that they're going to be coming forward with. So this is the first of a series.
Yeah. In terms of updates,
I remember voting in the bond election.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
You don't, or you do?
I don't. Oh, yeah.
There was one, yeah,
Recently?
pretty
Was it
recent.
like 2 years ago?
I don't know. Freddie, you
Yeah,
know?
I think too, yeah.
Okay, that one I remember.
So the last council meeting, the ordinance for the Coppell Service Center was approved. The PD for fire station number 5 was approved. The application, the PD for Rowers Coppell, the senior apartments, was denied. And the charity and transitional housing code amendment was approved at council. And now you know everything I know.
I missed the council meeting with regards to the senior housing application. What was some of the discussion there as part of that denial?
I'll let Matt talk, because
Right.
that was his case.
Yeah, so there wasn't too much discussion, but it was all zoning related. And, you know,
Think
density, parking, you know, all of the typical zoning stuff was brought
Yeah.
up.
Okay. Good deal. Okay.
That's all I have. Do you guys have anything else?
Nope.
I don't. Wow, we're early. Okay, can we start the meeting early tonight? Geez.
I don't think we
Probably not.
probably set the agenda like that.
All right. Well, thank you, Mary and Matt, for the review of the cases. I'll adjourn the work session. The time is 6:13, and so we'll have a short break until our regular session at 6:23. Or, sorry, 6:30, sorry. Okay, Mary, is everybody back in seated at the diocese?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. The time is 6:30 and the Planning and Zoning Commission is now reconvening into regular session. All of the members are present except Ed Marr. Did Ed come in? Did he join us? Mary?
No, he's absent today.
Okay. All righty, we'll move on then to item 3. Item 3 is a citizen's appearance. Cammie, has anybody signed to speak?
No, sir.
Okay, Mary, did you receive any written comments or anything for citizens' appearance?
No, sir.
Okay, moving on to on the agenda, item 4 is the approval of our March 21st meeting. If there's any comments or discussion, or if there's a motion by the commission.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move that the minutes of the March meeting be approved as written by the city secretary.
Okay, very good. We have a motion by Commissioner Portman. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, that sounded like Commissioner Guerra. Commissioner Hafman.
Mr. Hafman seconded.
Mr. Hafman, sorry. Okay, we have a second by Commissioner Hafman. Cammie, would you read the roll, please?
Please respond by saying aye or nay as I call your name. Commissioner Blankenship.
Aye.
Commissioner Guerra.
Aye.
Vice Chair Portman.
Aye.
Chairman Haas.
Aye.
Commissioner Hafman.
Aye.
And Commissioner Bishop.
Aye.
All approved, none opposed, motion carries.
Okay, very good, thank you. Item 5 on the agenda is a public hearing. This is to consider approval of PD-183R2-C, that being the Coppell High School Fine Arts Building and Tennis Center expansion, a zoning change request from Plan Development number 183, revised commercial, to Plan Development 183 revision number 2 commercial, to approve a detailed site plan for a 46,265 square foot fine arts building, a 4,600 square foot tennis building, and field equipment / events area on 63.478 acres of property located at 185 West Parkway Boulevard at the request of Coppell ISD, and being represented by Drew Anderson of Core Construction. We have a staff presentation by Ms. Mary Perone Boswell. Mary?
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. The first item on your agenda is a PD for Coppell High School expansion. So the Coppell High School has expanded over the years to include new buildings and facilities as deemed necessary by the school board. This current round of construction will see a new 46,265 square foot fine arts building, a new 4,600 square foot tennis building, and new field event areas constructed. That is what is being proposed. So this is an overall site plan of the entire school property. So this will show you the location of the proposed 2 new buildings and the field event activity area in relation to the existing buildings and structures that are on site. So to the north of the site, you have the existing tennis center and the tennis courts. So the new tennis building will be constructed just in front of it. The Fine Arts Building is to the lower west portion of the site, where currently exists a ball field. And then the field events area will be just south of that, where there's another ball field. So as I mentioned, there is a new tennis building being proposed. It's 1 story, it'll be sprinklered, it's 4,600 square feet. It'll have, lockers, offices, storage areas. It's currently being placed, they're existing right now, there's a parking area, so it'll take out some of that parking and will be placed right there. There we go. And there's a little concession stand just to the east of that. And then the second building that's being proposed, as I mentioned, is the Fine Arts Building, 46,265 square feet, 1 story, sprinklered. There is a new fire lane that's proposed. You'll see in the red. So this is on the western portion of the site and will be where there's an existing ball field. And I'm sure someone from LISD will kind of expound upon what will be contained within those buildings. And lastly, the field activity area, so they'll have a new long jump and high jump area just south of the new Fine Arts Building, where there's currently another ball field. So in terms of landscaping, with the tennis center, it's going in where there was existing parking. There's no landscaping proposed for the tennis center facility. This represents what you see on the screen here is the new Fine Arts Building. So they will be planting about 20 new trees on site. And to the west, along the border, there's already existing a good bunch of living screens, so trees and shrubs, just to the west of this building. And then this is the field event area. Again, there's a dense living screen that extends down the western property line and screens the outdoor event area. And so the majority of this space is green space. There's no new proposed trees in this area, as it's, supposed to be for outdoor field activity. In terms of facades or elevations for the buildings, both buildings will be constructed of brick. The Fine Arts Building will have accent brick design on one of the elevations. The door entrance areas will have metal canopies, and there are downspouts around the building exterior. And so this is the tennis center. Again, this will be brick with canopies over the doorways and metal downspouts. The existing tennis building and the proposed new building will be adjacent to one another and will be fenced in together. In terms of signage for the buildings, a sign is proposed for the building exterior on the tennis center. We'll just say Coppell Tennis with brushed aluminum letters over the main entrance measuring 14 square feet. And again, for the Fine Arts Rehearsal Building, it'll have the same thing in brushed aluminum letters over the main entrance and measuring 27 square feet. So this is a zone change request. We did send out letters within 200 feet, an additional 250 courtesy notices within 800 feet. I did speak to 3 people who called, who received notices within the 200 feet, essentially just asking, what was going on and where it was in relation to where they're located. So I went through that with them, and none of the 3 had any objections to what was being proposed. So staff is recommending approval of the request subject to the following conditions. 1, that there may be additional comments during detailed engineering review. 2, that they file the plat showing the revised fire lane and easements. And 3, the PD conditions are to allow the landscaping as proposed, and B, to approve the site plan as presented. That is the end of my presentation, and the applicant is here as well if you have any questions.
Very good. Thank you, Mary. Any questions of staff by the commission? Okay, hearing none. Mary, just wanted to follow up. In our discussion earlier, you had mentioned that the tennis courts, they were going to install new lighting as well as resurface the courts.
Yes, so I reached out to CISD, and they did reply that they are looking to do the lighting and resurface the courts towards the end of the building being done.
Okay, but that's part of this application?
They don't need anything for that to.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All righty. Very good. Thank you, Mary. Is the applicant here to present the case?
Good evening, Chairman Haas, Commissioners. I'll explain first kind of what the Fine Arts Building is going to be all about. But it is going to house our band, and it's going to be about the main band hall is about 50% larger than the current band hall. So it would hold, if you wanted, it would probably never happen, but it would hold up to 450 students without large instruments. But in the case they all wanted the whole marching band wanted to gather in there for a meeting, the space would be large enough to do that, just to kind of give you a little bit of perspective. So you have the new band space, the ensemble rooms, storage, everything for the band will be moved out to this facility. And one thing I've heard a couple of people say, they're saying, well, is this going to be a fine arts performance hall? No, this is strictly for classroom practice, preparing for concerts, things of that nature. The other program that will be housed in this building will be choir. So they're going to have a new and larger space, and with the practice rooms and everything that goes with choir, including the music storage, the robe storage, and things of that nature. The other program, it's going to have what's going to be the size of a full-size gymnasium or basketball court, so to speak. So this will enable the color guard, dance, and cheerleaders to practice in a designated space. Now, this space will not have basketball goals, so no one can come in there and say, well, we're going to play basketball. But no, this is strictly for those three programs. But it will be the size of a gymnasium with the striping, just like you would have a basketball court to be. In addition, what we've put in there, we put a couple of boys and girls locker room, so that in the event, while these programs don't normally need locker rooms, on occasion, if the choir students need to change before a performance, or band is marching and someone gets dirty and needs to shower, they will have that ability. There will be lockers, boys and girls lockers, and everything needed, in the event that lockers and locker rooms are needed for particular purposes. So those are the three main areas of that building, and taking care of the programs: band, choir, dance, cheerleading, and color guard. So you might ask, what's going to happen to all the interior of Coppell High School that currently houses band and choir? Well, that's going to be in phase 2 of our projects, where we are going to convert that area to be a career and tech education center. So if any of you have been into the Coppell High School 9th grade campus, where we repurposed a gymnasium to be a career and tech ed center, this is going to be similar in format to that, just larger. So that's going to be phase 2, and how those areas are going to be repurposed. Now, the tennis center, I started at Coppell ISD as an assistant principal when Coppell Middle School North was born 27-ish years ago, and moved from there to Coppell High School. Well, when I moved to Coppell High School, the current tennis center had just been built, and already it was too small, so at 1,200 square feet. So this is long overdue, and we're very excited to be able to increase the tennis center to 4,600 square feet, whereas it will have instructional areas, so that they can have, on bad weather days, they can have inside instruction. And there's also going to be a part that, when it's not being used by students, as you know, the Coppell Tennis Center is used by the community quite a bit for tennis leagues and things of that nature. And so there will be a public portion to this building that during the day will be used by students, but in the evening can be used, or weekends or during tournaments, can be used by the public. So that we'll have, and then there'll be a concession area, a little store, and things of that nature to take care of both our students and the community as needed. And as Chairman Haas mentioned, we are putting in all new LED lighting, so the lighting should be greatly improved on the courts, as well as we're completely repairing any cracks, resurfacing the courts, and restriping, And then there will be some additional that's not in core scope that we'll be doing with like new netting and seating areas and things of that nature that will be coming once this project is completed.
Sounds great. Thank you very much for the presentation there. Are there any questions by the commission of the applicant?
Sid, you might just want to tell them who you are.
I'm sorry.
You might just want to tell them who you are.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, my name is Sid Grant. My current title is Bond Project Manager. I was Associate Superintendent for the school district for years and just came up with Purchasing Director, Assistant Principal, went back 27 years. I retired in February of 2020. But I'm back now helping with the bond project. This is about my sixth or seventh bond program to work on from A to Z. So very excited to be back and be a part of this process. And it's wonderful to get to work with all the wonderful city folks that we've got so close over the years, and now we're back. So thank you so much for allowing me to present to you, and I'm happy to answer any additional questions you might have.
Well, thank you very much, Sid, for your service. I know you've done great in the past, and I'm sure these facilities are going to turn out just great, as all of our bond projects have for the schools in the past turned out great. So looking forward to that. Any other questions by the commission of the applicant? Okay. Well, thank you very much, Sid.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners.
You bet. Okay, this is a public hearing. Is there anybody who would like to speak for or against the proposed application? Help me out, Mary. I can't see them from this camera angle.
No one.
Okay, seeing none, then I will close the public hearing. Is there any discussion by the commission? Is there a motion by the commission?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I would move that PD-183R2-C, Coppell High School Fine Arts Building and Tennis Center expansion, a zoning change request from PD-183R-C, Plan Development -183 revised commercial, to PD-183R2-C, Plan Development 183 Revision 2 commercial, be approved as submitted, subject to the staff conditions.
Okay, very good. We have a motion by Vice Chair Portman. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Bishop. Ms. McGee, would you call the roll, please?
Please respond by saying aye or nay as I call your name. Commissioner Bishop? I'm sorry, Commissioner Blankenship?
Aye.
Commissioner Guerra?
Aye.
Vice Chair Portman?
Aye.
Chairman Haas?
Aye.
Commissioner Haithman?
Aye.
And Commissioner Bishop?
Aye.
All approved, none opposed, motion carries.
Very good. Thank you very much. Item 6 on the agenda is a public hearing. This is to consider approval of the Coppell High School addition replat Lot 1R Block 1, a replat to allow the construction of a fine arts building, a tennis building, and associated easements on 63.478 acres of property located at 185 West Parkway Boulevard at the request of Coppell ISD and being represented by Drew Anderson of Core Construction and or Sid Grant of Coppell ISD. Mary, with staff presentation.
Yes, so item 6, this is a companion item to the Coppell High School building expansion case that we just discussed. So again, this is a simple replat request. In order to construct the new buildings, some realignment of easements, new easements, abandonments, and fire lanes are required. So staff is recommending approval of the Coppell High School addition replat, Lot 1R, Block 1, subject to the following conditions: that there may be additional comments during detail engineering plan review. And that's the end of my presentation.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mary. Any questions of staff by the commission? Okay. As this is a public hearing, is the applicant have any additional items to add to the case?
No, sir.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Sid. Any questions of the applicant by the commission? Okay, very good. This is a public hearing. Is there anybody who'd like to speak for or against the proposed application?
There's no one.
Okay, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any final discussion or motion by the commission?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would move that Coppell High School addition replat Lot 1R, Block 1, a replat to allow for the construction of a fine arts building and tennis building and associate easements as be approved as submitted, subject to the staff condition.
Okay, very good. We have a motion by Commissioner Portman. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Hafman. Ms. McGee, would you call the roll, please?
Please respond by saying aye or nay as I call your name. Commissioner Blankenship.
Aye.
Commissioner Guerra.
Aye.
Vice Chair Portman.
Aye.
Chairman Haas.
Aye.
Commissioner Hafman.
Aye.
And Commissioner Bishop.
Aye.
All approved, none opposed, motion carries.
Very good. Thank you very much, Sid, and best of luck to the construction of those facilities. I'm sure they'll be great.
Thank you.
Item 7 this evening is an update on the city council items. We reviewed those during work session. Mary, is there anything else you'd like to add on that item?
No, sir.
Okay. Anything else to add altogether for this evening?
Have a good evening, everybody.
Oh, okay. Then item 8 is as adjournment. With there being no further business, I'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting. The time is 6:52, and thank you, and we'll see you next time. Have a good evening.